It
Okay.
was
All right.
interesting.
All right. So, taking a little bit of a note away, you're now finished, you're graduated, of course, high school. We're starting to really talk about, college, you're getting there, feeling your way around. And of course, on your profile, as far as in even continuing service, shout out to Theta. Like I know, like I'm a part of the story. Shout out to Theta. Does Theta, do you all have a call that you all do or something like that?
No, no.
No?
It's
Okay. All
it's
right.
just yeah, it's either Kappa Alpha Theta or Theta, but see that's what the
Okay.
movies like kind of make it seem like, but I
Right.
promise we don't.
Well, so say talk about that. Even organizations like you already talked about, your involvement with
Mhm.
organizations. So, you getting involved with service, and like you said, there's so many clubs out there. So you decided to join another organization once you got up there. And what did that do for you as well?
Yeah, so I never really pegged myself as a sorority kind of a girl, to be honest, but it's Greek life is very common on this campus. And so I decided, I want to find friends. I want to be involved and just get to know more people. So I decided to go through recruitment, ended up being in Theta. And then from there, there's already a lot of connections with girls that you already know. And I know one of the girls reached out to me and she was in Miami Business Enterprises,
Mm,
which is a club on campus, and you work with small town businesses and you help
mm,
them
mm,
promote their business and working with them to help market, whether it's on the financial side or just with social media. And so
mm,
that was
mm,
really cool. So I think getting involved that way was a lot, but also joining the sorority, I was like, I kind of want to have a leadership position somehow,
mm,
whether it's
mm,
behind the scenes without a label. I don't really care. I just want to be
mm,
more involved. And
mm,
so I actually am now recruitment chair for our
mm.
sorority. So coordinating events and dealing with people and talking with um, all sorts of people and faculty on campus is really cool, I think, and having those
Mm.
connections again that I'll have for the rest of my life is something that I'm really grateful for through all these experiences.
Gotcha. Awesome. The part that I really like, like you said, in high school, you were super involved. In college, needing to kind of find your way, discover
Mm-hmm.
who you are, and then jumping right back into it and really being able to, I guess, still remember who you are at your core. You're a leader. It's not about title, it's about service, connecting to people, and you just kind of seeing that throughout your matriculation, schools, and then even in the workforce. I believe that same habit will even repeat itself once you join a company. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's going to be
Yeah.
like not knowing anyone, but yet being able to kind of find your way, find your leadership skills, and then connecting with people. Also, because you never know who around you is going to be in that circle, going to your next phase of life as well,
Yeah.
which is super important. Your connections, your coworker, your whatever could be the your next person that you're walking down the campus with or something like
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think college is all about building contacts and connections with people
Hmm.
because you never know where you're going to be at in life or where you're going to end up. So I
Hmm.
think having as many as possible and reaching out earlier rather than too late is really beneficial. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, this is a question that I want to kind of hear about as well. Even though you were doing very well as far as in high school, with your academics, how did that translate, as far as in studying? Was it so much more difficult at the collegiate level? What things did you have to kind of, tweak, so to say, so that you could fully focus and get the kind of results that you want to have?
Yeah. Um, that's a loaded question, but um, so school has always been really important to me. Um, Leaving high school, I've always had to try really hard with my grades, but I pushed myself and I wanted to. Again, that's my competitive mindset. But going into college, I knew that it would be a lot harder and a lot for me to handle. So I think like starting out little and not jumping in and overcommitting yourself to too many organizations or clubs, or even just commitments with trying to meet new people. I think it's okay. Like college is very overwhelming and you have time to take a step back and be like, all right, like what do I want to do now? Because you don't want to overwhelm yourself as you're already past that point of being overwhelmed. So I think that, yeah, I just think taking a step back and realizing that it's okay to not overwork yourself. And you might not get the grades that you used to in high school. You might not have that 4.0 GPA. It's really hard to get a 4.0 GPA. And those kids that can get that are incredibly amazing, and kudos to them. But it's okay to have a 3.5. It's okay to have a 3.0. Like you just need to work through it and realize that, you know, maybe it's not your grades that speak volume in interviews. Maybe it's your personality and your skills in talking with others. So I think people try to find their, I guess, identity in their grades sometimes. And it's like a wake up call when you get to college, realizing it's a lot harder than anticipated.
Sure.
So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. So how much study time do you traditionally give yourself? You know, are you a crammer, or are you like a little bit each day, or?
Oh, I'm a planner. I am 100% a planner. So
okay.
I am very OCD about that. I don't like overwhelming myself. So I make a schedule every week that's like, all right, I need to start working on this or this. Procrastination, for some people it might work, but when you get to college, it's a lot different. It's hard to procrastinate 3 papers that are due and realizing how much actually has to go into each paper to get a decent grade. So I think I had to study a lot more. I probably study about 8 to 10 hours a day sometimes. So, but it's like kind of a thing where you got to space it out. So wake up early, you know, like study and then take a break, so it doesn't seem as like overwhelming or like, oh, this is all I do, because you do want to have a life. You do want to hang out with people and get to know others. So I think finding that balance, don't overwhelm yourself with trying to commit to schoolwork, but also you should make sure that you set time aside, because you do need to study when you get to college.
Right. Right. No, that's real good information. I mean, like you said, people's perception of this is what it is, watching TV and, you know, hey, this is what it's going to be like, but it's a different thing when you're in the throes. And then it's another thing also when you're having to sign your name on whatever that tuition is as well, if you don't have a full ride or whatever, you know, yeah, $15,000-$20,000 a year is real, you know, so.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think it's funny because my dad talked to me one day, and before I went off to college, and this is something that I've always thought about ever since, is he goes, I just want to let you know, like, I know you have the choice to go to class or not, but he said, just think about it this way. I will be putting money towards every class that you miss. So like every class that I take throughout the whole semester, it was like $100 or something like that. And so he's like, so just think, you're losing $100 every time that you don't go to class. So you kind of sit there, and I kind of, do I really not feel good, or do I want to lose $100?
Right. Way to go, Dad.
I know.
Right. Awesome. So what would you say are some of, what has been some of the more challenging parts so far? This is, like you said, you're wrapping up year 3. What has been some of the most challenging? And then we'll flip on what have been some of the, you know, highlights with your, you know, collegiate career and, you know, you deciding to, you know, go there.
Yeah. I think it's just, I mean, college is a lot. It goes by so fast. Like now I kind of want to reverse it back. But I think soaking it in and realizing that every moment is not going to be the greatest moment alive. Like college is stressful. College is hard. Finding a job, going to think about your future and like talking with people about that can be really stressful on students and kids in general. So I think, again, going back to like finding that outlet. So for me, I think my biggest challenge was trying to discover who I was while I was trying to discover what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And those were two really hard discoveries to figure out at the same time. So I think taking that time for yourself and realizing, you know, what's that one thing that rooted you when you were a kid? And for me, that was sports. So then when I left high school, going into college, I found, you know, intramural teams I could join, or like I would make sure that I would work out every day so I would have that time for myself to kind of just take a step back and breathe. Or not breathe, I guess, if you work out a little
Right.
too hard. But yeah,
Right.
I think definitely just finding the beauty within the darkest times is the most valuable thing I have learned.
Good stuff. Good info. So there were some things that you also, as far as in, you know, we'll be wrapping up here, but in respect to, you know, feedback, what you would say students, you know, whether they're high school, you know, first year college students or whatever, that would be really beneficial to them to know, you know, things that you've learned. Is there anything else that we maybe didn't specifically touch on that, you know, you had mentioned to me earlier
Yeah.
to, you know, just kind of give them a little bit of a heads up, so to
Yeah.
say?
No, I think it can be so stressful, and you don't let it stress you out. Like, what you decide on is your decision, and maybe it doesn't make you as happy in the beginning. It's okay if you work through it and again find the beauty in the darkness. Like, I love it here now at school, and I struggled my first 2 years here, and now I couldn't have seen myself anywhere else. And I think because of that, you realize how much growth will come within those next 4 years. So not sweating, you know, is this the right school for me, or is this the right school? I don't think you could make a wrong decision, because at the end of the day, you're getting your education. You will make the best out of any situation if you have that mindset. And finding that acceptance can be anywhere, you know? So I think that's the biggest advice that I can give, is not to let it consume you, like that stress and anxiety, and from just like, I don't know, adulthood.
Yeah, I got you.
Being on your
Adulting is
own.
real.
It
Yeah.
is real. I don't know how you guys do it.
So one last thing before we finish this segment out is when you were making your decision, you know, in state to out of state, you know, and we've had some of our Ty Clark was one of our players of the week, and he went down to like Louisiana and, you know, for school versus, you know, staying in Ohio and so on and so forth. I think Mike Miller, he went to Florida. So guys are like, most of the fellas are like, I'm getting out of here.
I
You
am
know,
getting out.
I need to be outside of the state of Ohio in some form of fashion, you know, and I'm not talking about distance learning. I need to see something different. So what was your decision, and why did you decide in-state versus even out of state?
I don't know. I think for me, I was like, oh, I want to get out of here as well. And then you're not going to like this response, but I loved Michigan State. Like, that was my dream school. I know. I really wiped that smile off
Boo.
my face so quickly.
Like a meme, like.
I know, you're like, no, I think that seeing those campuses, you also have to take into account the environment. Like Michigan State, it was beautiful. Honestly, it reminded me a lot of Miami, but Miami was more convenient for me because it wouldn't be as much of a haul to class, or things were closer together. And like for me at the time, that's kind of what I needed and wanted. And so weighing that option, although it still pains me that I didn't choose Michigan State, I can still support them, you know. But I think financially, it's a lot. It is so much money out of state. And I think being proactive on applying for those scholarships is the best thing that you can do. Like, even if you don't think you're going to get it, apply for it. Like, spend one day and maybe apply to 8 scholarships all in one day. And who knows, maybe that one that you're like, oh, I'm definitely not going to get it. That's 1 out of the 8 you actually get.
Right. Yeah.
So I think weighing that and realizing like if you want it to make it, if you want to make it work, you can make it work, but it's putting in the effort to make it work. And it might be more
Mhm.
exhausting than you ever thought, but it'll be worth it if that is truly what you want to do and being out of
Yeah.
state.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's really good information, even in regards to the scholarships. And me on the other end of, because Game Changers award scholarships this
mm-hmm.
year, because what we do is we base ours on service. So there's no way
Yeah.
for us to safely say, okay, you have to meet your 50 hours and, not jeopardize someone, doing
Right.
that piece. But I'm saying that to say we do the scholarship and
Mm-hmm.
we don't get that many all the time. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So it's like when you're on the fence of like, oh man, do I really want to apply? There's, and for ours as well, we're giving you $1,000, but then we also take you out to the ESPYs in Los Angeles. So some people are like, oh,
Yeah,
there's no way that I could
I
do
know.
that
I
and I
didn't
could
get to go.
whatever. I know you never applied. You
I know this
definitely
is what
probably
I'm
could have
talking
done.
about. I have a lot of regrets when it comes to
Oh,
that.
sorry.
No, but that's
But
cool. I like that.
yeah, but all that said, I mean, you never know until you try, and at the very worst, you don't get it. But if you get it, wow, that's an extra $1,000, $2,000, even
Yeah.
$500 less that you have to spend, or and you could use somewhere else. So
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
a lot of good information.
And I do know that sometimes when you apply for the scholarships, they have like a GPA requirement you have to hit sometimes like per year. I know that's
Mm-hmm.
mainly with the school, but I've seen it elsewhere at for other scholarships outside of the school. And sometimes that's like a motivation, like, okay, I
Mm-hmm.
need to work hard. I need to prioritize my schoolwork right now because I know I need this money. And I think you don't have your parents around to be like, no, you need to do this all the time.
Right.
So it's kind of like a self motivation thing to achieve that you need to sustain, which I think
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
really good. But
I agree. I spoke to admissions officer, and they said, the difference between you saying, okay, I'm at a 2.8, 2.9, and I'm fine, as far as a high schooler getting ready to leave out, versus someone saying, I'm at least going to get a 3.0, could be all the difference of, $3,000, $4,000, just because some scholarships, they start at a 3.0 as their base. And so it's almost like you need to set yourself up for success now. And a lot of times, some scholarships are cumulative where, yeah, you should have been on it, your sophomore, junior, or senior year. Some are saying, okay, what was your last year of high school looking like? And based on that, then we'll award you. So, I guess at the end of the day, I'm saying is that if you push yourself, you can never fail by pushing yourself, by doing your best that you could do, because at the end of the day, you're going to grow mentally in knowledge. And then if you can also reap from benefits from financially from scholarships, then it's icing on the cake, 1000%. So yeah, wonderful. All right, well, that's it. I'm going to play some rapid fire questions with you, just in case there's some things that we didn't touch on, give our viewers a little more
okay.
insight about who you are and all that other good stuff. So just some simple stuff. All righty.
Okay.
All righty. So let's go ahead and start it down with favorite favorite song. What are you
I
listening to
don't
these
have one.
days?
I don't have one. I don't have one.
Oh no, you're not the music person that this is my artist. And
No, I love music, but I'm so indecisive all the time. And so
okay.
I think it's whatever I'm in the mood for, but um
So
oh,
shuffle for
I
you
like
on a
Sunday
playlist.
Best.
You know what? I was gonna play that today, but I played it. So one of our guys, Mike Miller, who was our player of the week, he had turned me on to that about 3 weeks ago when he did his
Yeah.
IG. And man, so now and then on the Facebook Messenger, their commercial, they're playing Sunday Best. So now I'm rocking it. Like
Yeah.
I like,
No, it's a good
yeah,
song. I like it a
it
lot.
really is
So
awesome. What's your favorite junk food?
Oh, Twizzlers or Milk Duds?
Oh yeah. There was such a guilty pleasure about that. Like, I'm so
Yes.
ashamed. Like, yeah, like you got wrappers under your pillow or something like that.
Yeah, yep, nope, I definitely do. Might have had it at like 10 a.m. It's fine.
Okay. Whatever gets you your sugar to kind of get started for
I
the
know,
day.
that's what I'm saying. I needed it before my final presentation earlier, so I was like, gotta have a kickstart somehow.
There you go. Are you a texter or a talker?
Talker.
Talker. All right. What's your favorite season?
Fall.
Mm, agreed.
Always fall.
Um, Nickname your parents used to call you.
Oh, man. Gigi, Gabby Goo, um, Gabs. I think that's
Okay.
it.
That's it. All right. I can so see the Gabby Goo.
Oh, no. I know. I'm thanking my third grade teacher for that one.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Gabby Goo. Um, Favorite animal.
Elephant or monkey?
Mm. What was your favorite subject in high school?
Math. Algebra,
Okay.
to be exact.
Gotcha. Um, are you a car person? If so, what's your favorite car?
G-Wagon.
Ah, nice. Yeah, you're gonna need to get some money. You're gonna need to get you
I know.
get
I
you
know.
a career.
I know. That's why we label it the dream car.
Right, right, right. I got you. Uh, First celebrity crush.
Oh, Harry Styles.
Okay.
Or Niall Horan. One of the One
Okay.
Direction members, at least.
Got you. Either direction you're fine with.
Oh, yeah. I didn't care.
Sounds good. Outside of quarantine, how many hours of sleep do you usually get?
4 to 5 hours.
4 to 5. You know, I think that's the going rate for most college students. You're
Yeah.
like, if I get 5, I'm good. If I get 6, I'm feeling like, wow, like
I haven't slept
I
this long in
slept in.
ages.
Exactly. Right. I can only imagine people having to reboot when everything does clear and
hmm
go back to, that right there and not getting 10 hours of sleep a day or a little nap or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Or just like resting time in general.
Right, 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 right,
Oh,
right. Are you a person that you ask for permission or beg for forgiveness?
Um, ooh, this one's hard. Why is this a rapid fire? Now I have to think.
Okay.
Um, Ask for permission,
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Okay.
How
Survey
about,
says she asked for she asked for forgiveness. Like, oh, I'm sorry.
I know.
I took
I'm
the
always
car.
the
Oh, I
one
wasn't
who
supposed to. I'm sorry.
apologizes all the time.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, just even when I don't need to.
Got you. And most interesting place you visited?
Oh, Maui.
Ah, nice. Yeah, I love Maui. I used to live in Oahu, but I've been to Maui a couple times and it's beautiful over there.
Yeah, my parents had their honeymoon in Oahu,
Oh, okay.
so they love it
Yeah.
there. It's
Yeah.
their
My
favorite
friends over
place.
there, I called it, I checked on them and they're just kicking back and just chilling over there right now. So
Wouldn't
it
you want
always
to be in Hawaii right now during quarantine?
right. I thought about it. Tickets were down to $376 about 2, 3 weeks ago when it first hit. And
Mm-hmm.
the ticket prices dropped. I mean, you could get to Florida for like $50 in a pack of Twizzlers probably.
I
So
Yeah, and maybe the Milk Duds. Maybe the Milk
and
Duds
that's
too.
right. Very well. Well, wonderful. Gabrielle, thank you so much, aka Gabby, aka Gabs, aka Gabby Goo. Thank you so much for blessing us today, sharing with hopefully, some other student athletes out there, letting them know just about, some of the things that they can look forward to when they're getting ready to make that next step. And yeah, just super thanks. I appreciate your time today. And it was great to finally meet you face to face and
I
connect with you, so
know.
to say. Yeah. And
Yeah.
when you get ready to transition into your big marketing job, you make sure you keep game changers in mind. We might have to need you to do some work for us, you know?
I will. I will. I will. Thank you so much for
Awesome.
having me. I've never done an Instagram live, so this was interesting. Now I
All
know
right.
how.
There you go. Well, being that this is also going to be, you know, in your marketing major, you said part of that's dealing with media. So
I know.
it helps. Now you can put it on your professional resume.
I
Oh,
know.
yeah, I've
I
done that,
know how
right?
to join Instagram live.
Right. I curated content for Instagram Live. You see how that is?
Exactly, exactly. It's just all
Yeah.
about the wording.
There you go. Absolutely. All right. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate you all for tuning in. If you have any questions, please send them over to me. Until next Wednesday, when we speak to another former player of the week, seeing the types of steps that they've done to have some great futures and set themselves up for success. We'll see you next time. You be safe and still practice your social distancing. Have a good one, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Gabs. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.